Hello, everyone, and we are here to discuss the 44.6% capital gains tax and also the 25% unrealized gains tax for investments. We're going to explain why it's not quite what it's made out to be and why it probably doesn't affect you because it does not affect 99% of all Americans. And it's just people wasting their time worrying about imaginary taxes that they probably will never have to pay. First of all, let me get something out of the window. These bills are probably just designed to appease the far left, and Biden knows they have basically no chance of actually getting passed. It's just more of like a gesture because these things will actually affect ultra rich people. And guess who's ultra rich? That's right, Congress is ultra rich. Many of them are ultra rich, and they will not stand for a 44.6% capital gains tax or a 25% unrealized gains tax, no matter which party they're from. Madam Pelosi is not going to see her efforts and her riches go to waste. So, not only will the Republicans vote against it, a lot of the Democrats will vote against it as well. So they essentially have no chance of passing. And like I said, it's just a gesture to appease the far left. However, even if they somehow do magically pass, they probably won't affect you. And the devil's all in the details. See, the opponents, political opponents and pundits, like these big headlines to make people scared so they'll click on the link. But they won't tell you what's actually in the bill because then people won't be interested in it. And it's the devil that's in the details that will show us why these things do not affect you at all. So first of all, let's talk about the 44.6% capital gains tax. What they didn't mention is that it only affects income above $1 million every year. So essentially, if you do not make $1 million, this does not apply to you. Any investment income below $1 million total income will be taxed at roughly 20%, which is the current tax rate. It's only the amount above $1 million that's taxed at 44.6. So let's say you have a salary of $100,000. That's pretty common in America, right? And you have investment income of $500,000 because you sold a bunch of Bitcoin. Let's just say that. Your investment income is still taxed at 20%. You know why? Because it hasn't reached what your total income is only $600,000 and has not reached $1 million. If you make a $100,000 salary and you make $1 million in income, now your total income is $1.1 million. But wait, some of you might think that's all taxed at 44.6%. That's not true because we have a graduated income tax system. What that means is that your first million is taxed at the usual rate. So basically, like your 100,000 is going to be taxed at the usual tax rate. The first 900,000 of your capital gains is going to be taxed at 20%, and only the last $100,000 is going to be taxed at the new 44.6%. And this is why I think this will not affect the vast majority of people because I know everyone wants to be millionaires in the cryptocurrency market, but realistically, $1 million in capital gains is not something that people pull down in a single year. So, like I said, imaginary taxes that most, if not all of you, will never have to pay. Now, if you have over $500,000 in crypto right now, you might actually have to pay it if you make a lot of money. But if you're making a couple $100,000 or you cash out for a couple $100,000, you're going to be taxed at the regular amount, and only the amount over $1 million will you be taxed at the 44.6% rate. Now, the unrealized capital gains thing, I think that's one of the dumbest things ever, and there's no hello way that's going to pass. There's absolutely no way. But it will only affect people like Bill Gates because he actually has the amount of money required. This time, it's your total net worth, but it's not $1 million. It only affects you if you have a net worth of over $100 million. Now, many of you might have a net worth of over $1 million. People that have been working decades and accumulating usually can reach that $1 million mark if they have a very good salary. However, $100 million is not something most people ever achieve. because it's a much, much higher marker. So if you have net assets less than $100 million, it probably won't affect you. It actually won't affect you at all. So that's what that is. And I don't really know if anyone watching me actually has a net worth of over $100 million. The only way this actually affects some crypto people if they're Satoshi Nakamoto or like Jeff Bezos or something. Whereas like you bought Bitcoin back in '09, you didn't sell any of it, and you have over $100 million in Bitcoin that's unrealized. Then it will affect you. But the amount of people that are in that situation can probably be counted on one hand. So it probably does not actually affect you. And of course, like, if you're Jeff Bezos, you started Amazon, you didn't sell any of the Amazon stock, obviously it would apply to you. But I'm guessing Jeff Bezos is not watching this video. And so those of you that are watching this video are not affected. Bill Gates obviously will be affected. But, the thing is, like, he has enough money that he can be taxed. So it's not going to affect the vast majority of you. The devil is always in the details, and that's why you get a bunch of poor people always defending why rich people won't be taxed, because they don't pay attention to the details and they think the taxes are actually going to affect them and their income, which it doesn't, because most of these high taxes are going to be levied at the top, not anyone else, in terms of like how much taxation is unveiled. So let's cover that again. In terms of the 44.6%, the 44.6% capital gains tax, it only applies to the amount over $1 million in income per year, and that's per year. So like, if you cash out $500,000 a year, not going to affect you. And the unrealized gains tax only affects you if you have over $100 million in assets. So I'm going to guess the vast majority of people listening to me do not fall into either of those categories, so there is no need to be afraid of them at all. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.